All right, it is Wednesday morning. There are less than 3 weeks to drag week. In fact, there are about 2.5 weeks to drag week. It has been a little bit since I've posted a video, and so I wanted to do that just to give everyone an update on what's going on. The trailer's done. We're doing a separate video on that, so it's coming later. It might be after drag week, but it's coming. It is, I promise. Last big video, I had the fuel cell was done, and that was pretty much it. It's kind of where I left off. It's now been mounted. All the lines are run. All the plumbing is done. The pumps are mounted. The pumps are plumbed. The pumps are wired. All of this stuff has been tested. All of it works. It kind of looks like it's very busy, but there's a lot of other stuff going on too. So last video, the receiver was done. We've actually done trailer wiring now as well. There is a trailer brake controller right there. And there's a new battery, which I don't think I've put on video anywhere, or at least posted. So we've also, here's the brake controller bias valve, proportioning valve, and then also the brake button. That's also in. This seat's all done. I think you guys have seen that before. Chassis recertified. So the chassis cert guy came out yesterday, and he recertified the chassis. It was kind of unexpected. I didn't expect him to be here, but he gave me a call and was like, "Hey, I'll be in your neighborhood. Let me come recert it." So went ahead and let him come over and got that all squared away. So 25-1, all set to go for 3 more years. We are actually in the process. There's a mess going on up here. We're in the process of getting a transcooler mounted, and so we're welding some things onto the chassis for that. We just welded the horn on, so that a tab for the horn. So that's all set to go. I've got to hit it. Actually, I did hit it with paint. It's all set to go. The horn is already wired and everything. What I was going to show you over here is I've actually got a brake pedal switch that is in process right now. I welded the tab on tonight. I just have to get the switch installed now and then get that wired up, which will be super easy compared to what I needed to do. And that was really the last thing for the body wiring, I think. Yeah, it's pretty much the last thing for the body wiring. Body wiring's all set. Last weekend, Rick came over. We are working on, these are dump valves for the transmission. We went through all the major components of the transmission. It's buried right now. There was a little bit of damage to the case around the reverse clutches, so we updated those. And we put in what's called a case saver. So the case itself is aluminum, and so it's nice and soft. And so sometimes the clutch steels will chatter and actually rub on the case itself and cause checking and chattering and some issues there. So we cleaned that up in the case. We installed the case savers. We got the clutches in. We then did the high clutch, which was really just straight up replacement. No big deal. Again, you got to check clearances and stuff like that. Went through the high clutch. We had a planetary thrust bearing that we went through, and this is the old thrust bearing, and as you can see, it is all sorts of colors. It's actually not even flat anymore. Let me see if I can... Yeah, it's got a nice ridge on it, which apparently is pretty common, and so we went ahead and replaced this puppy because it's looking pretty rough. The other thing that we did was went through the front pump, and the pump itself originally did not allow for us to use a cooler on the car. Obviously, we're street driving it. We need to use a cooler. So I went through and made some changes to allow us to use the street cooler, or a trans cooler in general. Essentially, all the primary components of the transmission have been gone through. We've redone some stuff. Right now, we're waiting on a few fittings. Once we get those fittings, we'll have all the things that we need for the dump valves, and there's actually a converter pressure regulator as well that's here, and so we're going to get those installed. Oh, I've got tires. So street tires for the front were mounted last week. Street tires for the rear came in last week, and then were also mounted last week. And the race tires for the front, which I was replacing, those came in and were also mounted. Those came in weeks ago, and they were mounted last week too. So new street tires, new race tires. We've got some exciting other stuff coming on the electronic side. We've got to get this transmission together. We're going to work on doing that next after the transcooler. So we're finishing up the transcooler. We're then going to do the transmission, get that together. We're coming down to the wire. I wish the car were running driving. moving, no big deal. But I can't say that I didn't know this was going to happen. So anyway, cool update, or I should say a big update. I don't know if it's cool or not. You guys can tell me that. But big update, and can't wait to get this working, get things moved further along. We're just chipping away at it. It's a grind for sure. And it's been kind of crazy the last month now, maybe 2 months. So we'll keep working through it, and hopefully we'll have this thing ready for drag week. They sent all the, like a driver packet with a bunch of information they're asking us to fill out. They do it for everybody. I'm not special or anything, but you know, I'm kind of up in the air on exactly how I'm going to fill it out right now, because there's always a plan B, guys, and a plan C and a plan D and an E. So we want this to be plan A, and we want plan A to work out, but it's a grind, y'all. So anyway, have a good one. You'll probably see this Wednesday. Talk to you later.